Welcome back to my channel, Moving to Madison, Wisconsin. I'm your host, Mindy Hesnick, and today I have a super exciting opportunity for you and for me. I'm standing in front of a beautiful condo building right on Lake Monona. It's got Capitol views and lake views. It's an absolutely stunning condo project in the heart of Madison, Wisconsin. And today we're gonna get to see a beautiful multi-million-dollar condo renovation that one of my past clients recently did. So come inside and we're gonna see this beautiful condo and how he did a super unique renovation to this space.
Hi there.
Hi, nice to see you.
You're welcome.
Wow, this is so different. So when you purchased this place, we just walked into this long corridor that really served no purpose. How did you re-envision
I
this?
bought this place in 2017, and you're exactly correct. I heard about it on a open house. Walked in, saw this 25-foot long hallway, and it was brown. It had horrible tile on it. And I thought, ugh. And then I turned the corner and saw this view that you're all about to see, and so I had to have this. And really, it was a lovely unit. I don't mean to disparage a base gentleman in the hallway. So my concept was, let me live here for a while, and rather than just tear it all apart. And of course, most people are thoughtful in the way they do things. So just understand why it was the way it was and enjoy it. So 4 years later, COVID hit, and I had a little time on my hands, so I started tinkering. First on very small projects, and then my frustration with the floor plan itself really fostered the whole big change.
Okay, so this piece looks like there's gotta be a story behind it.
Yeah, so I had toyed with the floor plan, but the question to me was really what was going to be the decor to it. And I was in a shop on the east side of Madison called Deconstruction. And the concept of that shop is anything kind of pre-1950s is getting torn down in town. He goes in and cherry-picks stuff. So this is an old Toledo scale, and it was about 3,600 pounds, had this full weight system. As you can see, I've taken part of it out. Whole floor system to sit cows on and huge animals. I didn't need that, but he sold it to me, and I took it apart and just kind of stored it away, and it kind of built the whole idea of an industrial style. So I like the industrial style. It's warm, it's inviting, great colors, and you can put any kind of furniture in it. So so that started. In fact, the window right behind it is from a candy factory in Milwaukee, and almost every piece in here has got some sort of background.
What a transformation. So I'm trying to put myself back in this condo circa 2018. And the living room was over here. And the kitchen was probably this way a little bit, right?
Yeah. The frustration I had with it was the view corridor and the wasted space. So it's a curved window facade that basically has 6 different segments to it. That previously the master bedroom was all the way to your left, that had 1 segment. The next 2 segments out to this beam were, you're correct, where the living room was. And this segment right here in front of us was the dining room, and then walled off in here was a office. That really, these two to me had the best views, or more views, and the living room had essentially the worst views, and the master bedroom was smaller than the primary bedroom, the secondary bedroom, and it just wasn't working. So I just wanted to shift walls and capture the Capitol view and the water views separately.
And tell me about this space. You do a lot of entertaining, so I imagine this area gets
It's a big space. It's almost 3,300 square feet. And in fact, when I first walked in, I thought this is way too much for me to live in as a solitary person. But by putting it all out here in one, it's probably 1,800 feet right here, it really I use it. If I'm not sitting at the dining room table every day, at least I pass it as part of my daily living. And this area here, I'm not a great pool player, I'm quite poor, but I love the piece of furniture. It's the first piece of furniture I ever bought, actually, 30 years ago. And that's the case with all the pieces here. There's very little new furniture in this place. That's what I was referring to earlier with the industrial style. Just kind of plug stuff in.
Yeah.
If the colors are red, it tends to work. And but I live in this space. I've got a guest room here, which also functions as an office slash workout room, and then the master suite's off that way. But every little piece here has got some story to it.
Yeah, and I remember there was a wall separating the dining space, and that was one of your concerns, is you didn't feel like you would ever use that.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, the hallway referenced earlier, we walked down here, that hallway came to a dead end here, and there was a wall. So you didn't even get the view of the wall when you came in. I didn't want to give it away. I kind of like the idea of the window there being a little more subtle, and you come on the corner and get look at that view. But you're right, you walk right into a wall, and as I came in back in 17, there was a kitchen back there, and it kind of clashed, it didn't work so well. I'm like, ugh. And I walked out in the room, sure enough, so where that dining room was, and wow. So, if you're living here day to day, this is kind of my spot. Sit here, read here, work here, because it's got kind of everything in my vision center. And I do like the idea of kind of eye candy here where I look, and then the view in the background.
Yeah, speaking of eye candy, this beautiful fireplace, how did you find somebody to put this vision together and actually construct that?
Yeah, well, it starts on the tile below. Found the tile before I even had a floor plan, and at that same store I referenced earlier, and I bought 120 tiles, and I thought that would be kind of a theme I could use throughout, so you'll see it again in the master. And then I wanted to do something metallic because it fits with the industrial style, so I had the vent done by a company actually in Ohio, if I remember right. And then I wanted someone local here, and found a gentleman out just south of town that did all the rest of the metal work here that you're going to see, and I think he did a wonderful job. Just wanted it simple. And when I went to put artwork on it, that was a bit of a challenge. That's actually, that painting's held up by magnets, so I didn't want to drill any holes in the stainless steel.
I love that you don't have a TV over your fireplace, but
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, sure. In a previous house, I had a dedicated TV room, or theater room, I guess they call it nowadays, and I just didn't like it because it was off the beaten path. You couldn't be with people. You had to go back there and dedicate your time to doing that. So I wanted to bring everything into the living space. So that's got a TV that drops down, and there's a whole surround sound system here, not so subtly hidden in. And then over the wet bar to your right, there's another TV in that countertop that pops up, and because the problem with the drop-down projection TV, when it's so bright in here today, you can't see the TV well, and that TV sees fine. And then there's another one in here in the kitchen. There's actually 7 TVs in this place, which is embarrassing, but they're all
incredibly thoughtfully placed.
Yeah, they are obstructive looking, and in fact, the master bedroom, that story behind that one, was all about hiding that TV as well.
I am caught by this light fixture above your dining table. Tell me about that piece.
Needed some feature lighting. Did some searching on the internet and encountered something that looks much like what you've seen there. But it was stunningly expensive and looked really easy to build. And I had similar frustrations with the coffee table because I wanted a pop-up top on my coffee table that I could eat off of because I like watching the meeting at the same time. So anyway, I made these things, and Etsy's wonderful. So that little globe thing at the top I found on Etsy for about $20, and then some vintage wiring was really cheap. All the fluorescent light bulbs you're seeing there are burnt out bulbs that were being reprocessed where I work, so I just went down to processing and got a bag full of those. The 2 wheels on the end were for my tricycle, and for about $60, just wired the thing together. And I had already taken welding class, so I could do that side of it, and I did have my electrician make sure, couldn't do it up to code, if you will, and I guess it was put in after the inspector was here, so I don't know if you want to publish that. But yeah, it's kind of a neat piece, and it's on a dimmer switch, and it's not great lighting. As you can see, I have 6 lights above it to facilitate actually seeing your food, but it's kind of a neat show.
So the beautiful handmade light fixture has this incredible backdrop. Are these windows also from the same place as the entry?
Yeah, they are actually. But my initial drawings, when I put this idea together, this was going to be garage door.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so, because the idea, I really want to be able to open up the whole space.
Yeah.
But it just, I wanted to go all the way to the ground, I want to start halfway, and then I thought about noise from my neighbors, and ultimately kind of bagged the whole idea. But the rationale behind the half wall is there's curtains that drop down the inside of the room that can seal it off for privacy. But I wanted this room to enjoy the openness and the views to see the Capitol. And these windows were sourced from the same candy factory as was the headboard to the bed. And it's just, they're old $30 a piece windows that we did basically nothing to, including leaving this one cracked and these dirty, and because it spoke to the vintage industrial style.
So on the other side of this wall is the primary bedroom.
Indeed, yeah.
Okay.
Are we going there?
Let's see.
Let's go.
Wow, look at this door.
Yeah, I really went down the rabbit hole on that. I have all these. One of my thoughts was I'd be walking into a telephone booth and it would spin and I'd come out the other side. Not a Superman, but in my bedroom. But settled on this because it's a little more on the industrial style. It's meant to be a safe door. It's not actually working, but it's modeled after it. It is heavy, I will tell you that, but it just was an aesthetic choice more than anything else. So
It's very cool.
So now we're into the master suite, which was made up of half the living room previously here and what was the previous master over there. And I actually had this 4-inch pole made with a holder on it. So I had this huge TV planned that would sit right here and you would rotate around the column here so you could have it for both rooms. And during the remodel process, they had finally framed this space out and I came walking in. The views were so beautiful. The last thing I wanted was have this massive TV sitting right in front of my view quarter. So that spawned this as an answer. So the TV does pop up from here again. And I got to use that tile again on the other side, which was kind of fun. It's the same one you saw in the living room fireplace. So it still does pop up and spin, but I don't use it that way much. It's mainly for watching TV while I'm falling asleep. The other concept of the whole place, this is meant to be a bit more of a refined area, if you will. The far second bedroom is almost storage-like, with the open ceiling to the cement and much more deconstructed. This is meant with the ceiling recessed in and just the furnishings to be a bit more of a refined area, which culminates in the bathroom.
Let's see the bathroom.
Well, it's just this way. So this is kind of the idea, the most refined room as we go from south to north, and I'm really pleased with it. You have a vision of how something's going to turn out. But the combination of the colors and the textures and the just feel of it, I really am tickled with and spend a lot of time in here, consequently. In contrast to the bathroom on the other side, which is really unrefined, to use a term, it's got USB in the ceiling. It's really just not as polished as this, but I like the contrast, and it's actually quite intentional. So I'm 6'10". This is 42 at least inches high with an elevated vessel, so it's very easy. Oversized mirror, which I like. My mom painted this painting, which is kind of cool. She was walking down on John Nolan, and that was the site she had, so it kind of fits the whole place. And the shower is I just love it. It's huge. It's set up as a steam shower with a rainfall thing also. And the bench there is also made of the same stone, but it's heated, so it's set up as a Turkish bath. So there's a faucet to the right that pours water over it, and if you've ever had, or if you haven't had a Turkish bath, I highly recommend it's kind of an exfoliative process. And then the steam shower cooks on, which is really easy. You just push a button and it goes. So I actually use it. And then, of course, there's a TV. And this one I didn't hide. It is piped sound-wise into the shower so I can watch it and listen.
So obviously you were able to come in here and see the space for what it was, knowing that it wasn't going to work for you, but you had enough of a vision to know that you could turn it into something amazing. So what were some of the features of this condo that gave you the impression that you would be able to turn it into something as beautiful as this?
Oh, thanks. It was very big, which I think was almost an opposite of a selling point because I thought it was a little overwhelming. But I was moving from a house to a condominium, so the idea of giving up outdoor space kind of spooked me a little bit. And it has two wonderful balconies that I use different purposes. The one off the bedroom I use for kind of quiet time. I've got flowers out there. It's my space. Whereas the other is I've got a grill out there and a place to sit and eat dinner and things like that. So it serves two different purposes, and it's got very different view quarters. I also have 3 children that I invite openly to come stay with me, and want to be able to sleep them all if need be. So my laundry room in the previous version of this condo was way oversized and probably close to 500 square feet. It was just useless. So I made that much smaller, but out of that put a bunk in there with a king-size bed in it, and yet another TV, and some storage space, an extra refrigerator. So that's worked well. And I alluded to the transitional space in the other bedroom. That's got a Murphy bed in it, so there's another place for the kids to be, and it has access to the other deck right off of that bedroom, and it's a great flex space for me.
Thank you so much for inviting us into your beautiful home. You did such an incredible job in this remodel. We really appreciate being here. But one thing that we forgot to talk about are the views of this beautiful condo.
Yeah, it's why I bought the place, for sure. Location's great. The floor plan, we've talked about those frustrations, but ultimately when I turned the corner from that hallway, saw the kitchen where the backsplash and the countertops literally clashed. I would joke they looked like 2 different shades of vomit. And then I turned and looked outside and said, right, this is where I want to be. And so 4 years later, when I started the remodel, I really wanted to capture the views. And there's basically city views here featuring the Capitol. And then there's this expansive view of the lake going all the way over to the Alliance Center. So the master previously faced away from the Capitol. So a priority to me was to be able to sit in bed and watch the Capitol lights. And the other thought was, who would buy this place when I left? Probably another one of me or a couple that it did not have to be kid friendly. So I really wanted the bedroom suite to be a place, a refuge, if you will, and a place where I could be, or a place where a couple could be, and have it be a generous space. And part of that was the deck that we talked about. So this is the one that is where I like to just sit out and read, and I actually put planters in this year and tried to make that a little more warm and inviting. This is the space. This is where I hang out.
It's beautiful. Well, thank you again for having us.
Yeah, my pleasure, Mandy. Good luck.